Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to another episode of The Blacks is Fun. With me, Robert.
With me, Pete.
Man like Mo, yeah, full furnace once again, yeah.
Heat it
We
up,
in the
heat it up,
building.
heat it up.
We got so guys. Everyone's so tired.
I just realized my shirt blends into the background. It's the same shade as the.
Not really.
Shut up, man.
All right, starting strong. I see. Cool. Who's in the hot seat today? Is it Moses?
Ooh.
It's me, you know.
I think it has to be Moses, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I need to remind myself to come to this with questions. I know a question. Let's see. I'm going back to the vault. Robert, have you got anything?
So I want to ask a question based on last week's talk, but I think I might tweak it. So last week we were talking. One of the things we talked about was Robert De Niro and Al Pacino becoming dads again
Yeah.
at their ages.
Bro,
Yeah.
I swear them man have hit retirement age.
79 and 81.
Yeah.
Yo, them man's still running strong.
I mean, Abraham was 100, so you know.
I mean, he had a different kind of Viagra.
Yeah, but he also lived till what? How old was he? Like 600 or something? That's a different time.
That's wild though, you know, because you're living up to like 600, yeah, and arguably you had your wife from young.
Yeah.
And I've actually got a question for you, like, yeah. After your thing, let me write it down so that I don't forget.
Okay.
It'll be interesting. I might catch a couple of raised eyebrows from Kevin's ain't here, so that's one less. But if Jer's beside you, I might catch a raised eyebrow.
No, she's here.
So sorry, Abraham was only 175. Sorry.
It might have
Not
been
600.
Adam you're thinking about.
Now got to like 1,000 or something. Or
Adam went to 930.
Okay.
Yeah.
We should know this because I didn't preach on this on Sunday.
Oh, he came with the mathematical formulas and that. I was like, raw. But yeah.
Oh yeah. So question around that. So let's say you knew a Christian guy, married, all of that good stuff. Are there any circumstances where you would advise him that maybe he's not ready to be a father yet?
Oh. Hold on, let me.
Move away from the microphone.
Okay. Is there any reason I would advise a Christian husband that he wasn't ready to be a husband yet?
Yeah. That you felt that like you felt enough that you felt he wasn't ready enough that you felt led to, you know, have an actual conversation with him about it.
A husband or a father?
A husband.
If you're already
a husband's not ready to be a husband, or a
father.
husband not ready to be a father.
Yeah, husband ready,
Or a
not
man not ready to
yeah,
be a husband.
No, a man. Yeah, he's already married.
He's already married.
After the marriage, he's not ready to be a father.
Cool.
Yes.
I wouldn't. I don't think there will be any circumstance in which I would say that. Because I feel like not only does the marriage itself like factor into your sanctification, but children do as well. And if you are the most selfish guy, like you hold grudges, blah, 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 this and that, when you get kids, it's going to become so apparent. And if you are a godly Christian man, which I'm hoping you are, and for us to be able to have this conversation, I would be like, you would need accountability, you need a support system, blah, blah, blah. But it will definitely chip away at it will highlight and help chip away at your selfishness. there some people may argue you're not financially stable, blah blah blah, this and that. But my counter argument there is yes, there is wisdom in ensuring that you're physically in a space to provide for a kid, but we walk by faith, not by sight. Doesn't necessarily mean, fam, go have a whole football pitch of kids. Doesn't mean that. I do believe that when it comes to children within a marriage, you need to be led by God. To be like, even if you feel like you're not ready, to be like, yo, I kind of feel like God is leading us down this path. Sometimes it may not be, oh, God is leading us down this path. Sometimes your pull-up game is weak and now you're pregnant. Like, that can happen. But I don't think there will be any circumstance in which I'll tell a husband, I don't think you're ready for kids.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't, because I believe that it's going to challenge your character, which is only a good thing. It will push you deeper into reflecting on God as a father. As you reflect on your children and how you father them, it will push you more so into reflecting on how God sees you. And it will, things around like discipleship and like leading a household and taking on these responsibilities, it will push you into that space more so than just having a wife. So yeah, mine will just be, I wouldn't say I don't think you're ready for it. I would just be like, it's between you and your wife as to when you're both ready. And also prayerfully seeking children. But I don't think I'll tell any husband, I don't think you're ready to have kids. I'll be like, yeah, go for it. It's going to challenge you and you're going to have to grow through it. But if you're having a conversation with me, then I'll be like, bro, I'm here for you. And not just me, I'm hoping that there will be a bigger community as well, where as men, we can hold each other accountable and just be like, yo, how is this going? How is that going? Or you can be like, oh, bro, I'm struggling with X, I'm struggling with Y. Because even after you have kids, your relationship with your wife can be stretched during the whole pregnancy and after birth, because your wife is going through hormonal changes and physical changes. And her attention kind of goes from being a wife to being a mother. And then you're going to have to kind of factor that into the way that you engage with her and you kind of give her space and stuff. So yeah, it definitely shapes, as a husband and as a man, it shapes your, it shapes you a lot. But in surrendering to God, I feel like it can only work out for the good, no matter how much you struggle. I'm not sure if you'd agree, Peter.
I don't necessarily disagree at all. I think I do agree. And the only thing I was going to add was, I don't think anyone's ever really ready, or I don't think there's actually a measure for readiness to be a father. Once you are, especially for a Christian person, you're in a marriage, you sort of become a better father as you go through the processes. Yeah, it's
think,
like
yeah. I was just gonna say, I think the argument for being ready is predominantly financial.
Yeah, though. But then also, I think it's almost like, well, so when you said it, for whatever reason, I sort of thought along the lines of where there's a pregnancy and then it's like you shouldn't be ready, and thus consequently abortion. And so it's like, obviously there's no circumstance, financial or otherwise, where I'd ever say that. But yeah, that the argument tends to be financial, and even then, it's like, yeah, as has been said, you sort of figure it out as you go. Yeah. So yeah, no, I completely agree as well. Yeah.
Cool. I'm with that.
Do you want to go to my question before Mo?
Yeah. What's your question?
Cool.
I've written mine down, so I should remember.
So my question was, Top G. Top G said that he can't place his faith in a God that isn't respected. And so this is following following his BBC interview, which I didn't watch, he did another interview with Valuetainment, Patrick Bet David and another dude who I, again, didn't watch but sort of watched clips from. And his argument as to why he went from atheist to Christian to now Muslim is he can't place his faith in a God that's not respected. Ergo, the Christian God isn't respected, and they can do all their jokes, but the Muslim God, Allah, is respected because there's too much heat with messing around with Allah. My question to you is that true? Do you agree? And if so, is he correct in his presumption that you can't put faith in a God that isn't respected? And if he is, then why should anyone be Christian?
That's a very good question. I do agree that amongst the Abrahamic faiths, Christianity is the punching bag. Yeah, because if you speak something about the Jews, you'll get cancelled straight. If you speak something about Islam, it's peak for you. But Christianity, yeah, it's all long. But Christianity tends to be the punching bag. Now there are other religious flavors and persuasions that are butts of jokes as well. But out of like the major religions, Christianity definitely is a punching bag. But I see that as tying in perfectly with what Jesus said. Even in lines of like people who persecute you will think they're doing God a service. They think they're doing the right thing. You will be persecuted. You will be ridiculed. If people have called me devil, what do you think they're going to call you? It's like that. There is this recognition of Jesus is foolishness for the Gentiles and a stumbling block to the Jews. But he is the power of God unto salvation. And in God's wisdom, he has chosen to use his foolishness to confound the wise. So yeah, I think it ties in perfectly. I think it ties in perfectly with what Scripture kind of presents in line of like persecution and stuff. There are different flavors of persecution. There are some where it's very much just like, I'm going to shoot you, blah, blah, blah. Other ones is, and I think it's more so in the West, where it's like, no, I'm just going to make fun of you, make you feel stupid. So the persecution is a lot more inconvenience and uncomfortability, as opposed to, no, I'm going to run up into your church meeting and kill everyone unless they denounce Christ. And so there's like different expressions of persecution in different cultures. So yeah, I believe he is right. But in him being right, it lines up with Scripture. And it lines up with God using the foolishness of the world to bring about his salvation. And I think it also highlights the miracle that is salvation. To believe in something contrary to logic in that way. And it isn't saying like the Bible is just nonsense. No. But you're trying to tell me one man died on a cross that everyone may enjoy this relationship with God. Like when it comes to most of the other religions, no, it has to be on your part. You have to have done something to merit this thing. But not so with Christianity. And so, yeah, for those who are almost like on the line and saying, oh, yeah, but people treat Jesus is my homeboy. Yeah, like I got a Jesus. Like my only advice would be like, yo, if you really think you can live a righteous life and stand before God, Go try it. I've tried it and I know I can't. So I'm holding on to his promises that in Christ I will stand right before him. Because outside of Jesus, nothing else is going to help me. If you think something else is going to help you, bro, let's find out. So yeah.
I have a partial disagreement.
Okay.
On two fronts. Firstly, up to the end of the Old Testament, the God of the Christians and the Jews is the same God.
Yeah.
So I think it's not so much the God, or if we're talking about Muslim, Allah, that is the one that people are respecting. It's much more the religion itself. You know, people are wary of Muslims not because of Allah. I think people probably know less about Allah than know about God, but they've seen what Muslims will do in Allah's name, and that's why they will, maybe not be as vocal. And again, with Christians, we have the same God as the Jews, just not the same Jesus. Basically. Yeah. And again, I think the respect that the Jews have comes down to their past, their past, and their protectiveness as a result of the past that they've had. And I think like a question that comes to mind when people ask this question is like, respected by who? Because like Andrew Tate said, he couldn't respect a God who isn't respected by people, but by that measure, there are a lot of people that don't respect Andrew Tate. So does that mean that he's not worth listening to as well?
I hear that. No, those are very good points. Yeah. And definitely.
And also, just say, like, if you look at someone like Lloyd Mayweather, you might laugh at him behind the screen because he can't read. In person, he'll knock you out. So ultimately, whether you respect someone or not, like, you'll find out. But
even Mike Tyson, you won't make fun of him. You won't make fun of his list in front of him.
Exactly. Like,
yeah,
the Egyptians made fun of God or didn't take him seriously. They found out, and I think just because you don't respect something doesn't mean that the thing isn't worth respecting.
Facts.
Especially when it comes to God. Yeah,
I agree that the culture around the religion plays a part in the world's respect or reverence for the religion. Both Muslims and Jews, they're much more united than Christians. Yeah. As a culture, they're much more united than Christians, and they tend to agree on the same points for the most part. There are progressives within each religion that kind of push the boat out in different directions, but for the most part, those practicing tend to be quite conservative, to use that word. But in Christianity, family is a minefield.
Yeah, especially like Western Christianity. I think if you go to like the Eastern stuff where Christianity is like, you could die for your faith.
Yeah.
You might not have that same view of Christianity.
Yeah. And I think when I was thinking about the ridicule of the God, I was thinking about the main figureheads. So yes, we've got the same, like, Yahweh arguably linking us, but Jesus is a major figurehead in Christianity, rightly so. And I think they're almost taking shots at Jesus as opposed to Yahweh. Where in Judaism, if you're to take shots at their God, it's just straight Yahweh. There's no mediator. Like, no one's. Even if anyone's trying to take shots at Moses, it's in Christianity that I hear that argument a lot. Man, them are like, oh, Moses just went up the hill and then he hid around the bush and then chiseled the tablets by himself and then came down. I'm just like, good, yeah, because he had good. And even like Jesus feeding 5,000 loaves, and he's like, oh, his disciples had more fish and they're passing it to him in the background. I'm like, yeah, well done, you've cracked the code, well done. So I think it's the figurehead of Jesus that people are ridiculing, that they're kind of mocking and stuff, as opposed to the overall God, and the lack of understanding around the Trinity also kind of brings things into, especially from a theological perspective, anyways. But yeah, definitely agree with you in that the culture around the faith plays a massive factor in how society at large perceives the religion.
Mm.
And Christianity, we're not really doing ourselves much of a favor.
Yeah.
Fair. Yeah. Yeah, fair. Yeah, I think that's good.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
Real quick.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about this, yeah, and I was like, most of them, well, not most, but the prominent men, quite a few of the prominent men in the Bible had concubines.
Come on.
And I was wondering, yeah, did they have concubines? Because obviously, for the most part, these concubines were for sexual pleasures. Did they have concubines as a service? Like, what? Think about the statement, and like whether you disagree or not, and like your thoughts behind it. The Bible doesn't really give much answers here or there, but yeah, just your thoughts around it. Did they have concubines as a service to their wives, that their sexual urges won't just fall on her? That it's like if you didn't want to have sex, but their husband still wanted to have sex, there was another woman to have sex with that was almost mutually agreed and was open and like not mutually agreed, because I don't feel like the wife could be like, yeah, nah. But he brought in a wife to be like, yo, when you're not on it or you're going through your period or whatever, man can run with this one. And then yeah, so you won't feel, sexual frustration won't be a thing. It won't just be you, like boom. So yeah, what's your thoughts around that?
I don't think women had a say, and their feelings were not taken into consideration.
But you say that, yeah. I sorry. Finish your point.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And like, you know, even someone like, what's his name? What was it? Jacob.
Yeah.
You know, as much as he loved Rachel and was willing to work there 14 years for her, he still smashed. Yeah. And the maidservants.
Yeah. But the wives gave him the maidservants.
This is the point I was going to make. Was I see what you're saying, but I don't think it was so much the wives didn't have a say or their feelings weren't considered, because it seemed like with Leah, with Rachel, with Abraham, it seemed almost like
Pop culture.
Yeah, to say, here's my
I
handmaiden.
thought you said
Like,
pop culture, you know?
it seemed almost like it didn't, from the way it's presented in the Bible, it seemed normal. Like, yeah, go sleep with my handmaiden, so that she'll give birth unto me. Or here is Hagar, sleep with her, so that by her I might give birth. It seemed like it was normal. I think they had a different relationship. They had a different view towards sex than we do now. Almost, and even than the New Testament did. And I say that because it seemed more important, the idea of sort of pregnancy and giving birth and all of those things, than just the pleasure of sex. It wasn't as much the pleasure of sex. And so, you know, I can't see any situation today where, you know, Jacob works for his wife, Leah, and then he smashes Leah, and on that wedding night, and Rachel's cool with it. Like, or even if she's upset with it, it's like, yeah, you got
Have you
wet
heard of
nice
Frupples, Peter?
Sorry?
Have you heard of Frupples?
What?
So that's coming to it because we don't have a good relationship with sex in today's day and age. It's stupid. Polyamory and all of this nonsense. It's ridiculous the type of things that are going on. But it just seems to me they had a very different relationship with sex, or at least concept of sex in the old day. You know, for like who was it? Was it Judah's son's widow
Yeah,
would trick him into sleeping with her, you know, and get the
The
get
staff
the
and the ring.
signet ring,
yeah.
get pregnant, and it was like there was, it didn't even seem like there was any weirdness about, oh, you slept with your son's daughter. It was more, oh yes, I have not been a righteous man because I have not given you a husband or something like that. It was like
But,
they just
but as he was walking, he thought she was a cult prostitute. So
yeah.
he was arguably he was horny.
Yes, yeah, no, and this is what I'm saying. It was. It seems like it was just. Well, the reason I'm saying they had a different relationship with it was it seems men get horny, they need to bust, and so it's like
Yeah.
it's fine.
And like even was it Dina who got
Dinah,
raped?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and,
and then
and,
the man's
and then
like
she
he
wanted
wants
to
to
go
marry
and get
her.
married
Yeah,
to the guy that was Absalom.
no. So
no,
Dinah is the sister of the 12,
yeah,
and then she got raped by someone that lived in the area.
yeah.
In the area that they were living in, the
Okay.
son of
His name,
the
yeah,
leader
his
there.
name was the name of the city. I've forgotten the
Yeah,
name.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then it was, he then said, oh, he desires her, so he wants to marry her after smashing. And the brothers were like, okay, you guys go and get circumcised. And Levi
Yeah,
and, who was it? Levi and his other brother go in and kill them.
Oh no,
but
Whilst
yeah,
they're,
Absalom,
and there was
Absalom's
one. Yeah,
as well.
and there was one where
yeah,
someone got raped.
David's son. And
Yeah,
then he was like, let my sister bring me, bring me soup or something because I'm not well.
Yeah,
eat in my chambers.
Yeah, yeah. Then he smashes,
But
and then it's
yes, you're
like,
right.
and then she
The,
said, "Marry me now."
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But
Don't
then with
do the
her, it was
shameful
like
thing.
he detested her
Yeah.
afterwards. Yeah.
Post
So
that clarity.
You know what? Yeah, I heard the story. This story is 18, so there's an 18 part. Yeah, there's an 18 part to the podcast. This is that when you said post nut clarity. Yeah, this guy was like, it was a Reddit thread, and it was like, where's the weirdest place you've ever masturbated? And he was like, oh, he was at a low point in life and was gonna go commit suicide, so he lay down on the train tracks, and the train was taking long, so he thought, oh, cool, let me just masturbate. So he was laying on the train tracks, masturbate, and it was like after he nutted, he was like, "Why don't I want to kill myself? Let me just get up," and he got up and left. So post nut clarity helped him save his life. That's
save
I
your
guess
life.
crazy.
I guess you could say that got him on the right track.
Gosh,
That's
yeah.
crazy. But yeah,
Yeah, so I think they had a different concept. It seems their society, their culture had a very different concept of sex. You know,
because even Abraham had concubines,
yeah,
bag of kids.
yeah,
David was just mad.
Wait, hold on. I think we should make a difference between a concubine and a hand servant because I think they are different things. Abraham had
Mm.
hand servants.
Oh no,
Solomon
yeah.
had concubines.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
No,
But he did have
well,
concubines. No, he did have
yeah,
children by concubines.
Did he?
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
concubines, yeah.
Especially, I think it was after Sarah.
Yeah,
When Sarah died, he married and then he had concubines as well. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Man's over 100, still
yeah.
mashing.
You got to think as well, like that society is so different from ours because
Mhm.
even with kids, it was a thing of you have as many kids as you possibly can,
Yeah,
to further the
the fruits
lineage,
will multiply.
not literally. So it's like it was, and you see a lot that a lot of the women derived their value from having kids, and I wouldn't even say society pressured because that's the argument that's been made, but I think that's just how they viewed their value in the time was to be able to have kids, and it's not about society per se. I guess society all decides what value
I
is,
got a
but
question. I got a
what's that?
question.
Yeah.
Do you? Let me phrase this right. Do you think the way women perceive themselves is better now or in biblical times?
Oh, that's just a kind of worms, boy.
That's a very big can of worms.
I think um I think there are pros and cons in each.
Well, which one's got the most pros? Which one's got the better pro to con ratio?
So I think arguably it was simpler times back then in terms of so when we say back in like if we take the Old Testament, then we're looking specifically at the Jewish culture. So how the Jewish community kind of view themselves and stuff. It is not necessarily reflecting on wider cultures, because some women were burning their children,
Eating their children,
doing madness, like just sleep. Yeah, like the Greeks were just on a madness, orgies and all of them things there.
So if we're looking at like the Abraham God following,
then yeah, that's actually an interesting question. So if we're looking at the Jewish lineage,
no, actually, no. Let's not zoom in like that. Just because if we're looking at today's society, we'll be taking the Christian and non-Christian into consideration as well. So outside of the cannibalism, from like what we see in the Bible of how women were treated, how they presented themselves, kind of things they did, do you think that women value system was better back then, or no?
I think I'd have to say back then, because back then, at the very least, it seems the value system was based on something wholesome, whether that was on child rearing, whether that was on sort of marriage and being a helpmeet. Like, it seemed women valued themselves based on something that would progress society, or something that was at the very least positive for society. Today, it would appear women base their value on, well, one there, and maybe this is a skew from, seeing a lot of the feminist movement or following that. But it seems women base a lot of value, or see their value in, one, their sexual liberty, and two, their liberty to kill. And so this whole abortion thing, the idea that they seem to have so much value in having the rights to murder another human being that's growing inside of them. It seems those values are, at the very least, so shallow.
But play devil's advocate, like there is that side, but also the side where women feel like the contributions to society aren't seen as much as they should be. They feel like they have a lot more to give the men are allowing them to. They feel like there are spaces where men predominate that could do with women being there. So, a woman's touch. Sorry, there's a fly. I want to kill it.
I was about to say, like, you look like you're about to murder something.
Sorry.
Nah, so good. And I hear you, and I feel like society has gradually become more individualistic. Back in those times, it seemed more communal, and because it was communal, there was almost like this sense of hierarchy of power. So even the men were subject to other men, like there was a chain of command. Now that chain of command seems to be a bit flattened, and everyone's kind of fighting for headship, almost going back to Genesis, where God is like, Eve, you're gonna fight like for your husband's position. You're gonna fight for that headship. In the way that I've understood it, anyways. And yes, there were bad things done. So even if we zoom out from just the biblical narrative, men could do madness and then just send women to go sort it out. So Lot when the two angels came to him, man them wanted to rape the angels, but he's like, nah, have my virgin daughters. And they didn't have a say. The Levite who traveled to, was it the Benjaminites? And then they wanted to rape him. Brother, he pushed his wife out. They raped her all night. So it's almost like they wanted to do something to the man, but the woman got the short end of the straw. And even if we look at like Chinese, Asian culture, not just Chinese, but Asian culture, historically, men will rack up debts, and then the women would have to go live in a brothel to earn money to pay for their husband's debts. And then it's just like, no, this isn't your debt, it's your husband's debt. But he's almost selling your body to finance his gambling. And so even in those ways, like the woman's worth wasn't valued as much, or wasn't, women were almost commodities within that. And so there's a natural progression of the oppressed wanting to shake off the shackles of the oppressors, but then the oppressed become the oppressors, and that vicious cycle kind of going around. And so yes, now there does seem to be like this movement towards sexual liberty, towards equality, blah blah blah, but it doesn't pan out the way they want it to, arguably, for various different factors and reasons. And I'm not going to try go on a Jordan Peterson sort of Peterson, whatever, sort of argument where it's just like, just like skill set wise and the pool of talent and stuff is just not equal. The trajectory that both men and women have taken throughout the ages is different. So yeah, I would say if I could take the community focus of both men and women of the past, but almost like the
equal standing,
and not of the present, because I feel like we've pushed the boat out far, but almost when Paul is like, there is no longer male nor female, Jew nor Gentile, we are all one in Christ. That sort of equality, where we recognize the value and the worth, but still very much being like, no, we're building the community together. Like that would almost be this utopian sort of space. But yeah, I do feel in terms of picking one over the other, I'm struggling a lot because of the gaping atrocities in both spaces. But yeah, I'll say the community focusedness of the Old Testament and the equality within the New Testament makes a perfect combination.
I mean, could you also say, there's an element of there being sort of bad men, men that weren't standing up for their women. Yeah. That's the case all around. But yeah.
So.
Well, I don't actually have a topic for today, so if you guys would like to talk about something, please let me know. It's been one of those weeks where it's just been like, nothing's happened except for Boris Johnson. He stepped down, and then they told him that he did mislead Parliament about his Partygate stuff, but no one cares about that. I don't really have anything else to talk about. I doubt you guys have seen Spider-Man yet, have you?
Nah, I haven't. Do you know what? Yeah, and after speaking, I was gonna go see it, but actually, after speaking to you, I decided not to.
Yeah, because this one carries on from the
first one.
Yeah.
And you know what? Yeah, I've seen the first one. I've seen the first one like 3 times. I really enjoyed it, but I no longer want to contribute to films or partake in films that I need to follow the entire storyline to get. I feel like films. I feel like films need to be self-contained.
Okay. I don't like something like it. Sorry, something like an Avengers. Do you mean like
I won't follow Avengers.
won't follow? Yeah, because you
Yeah,
need to watch so much else.
I
Yeah.
need to watch all of the. I'm not gonna do it.
But how's that different from watching episodic TV?
And that's what I'm wrestling with right now, because there's a massive difference. If you watch obviously if you're watching like Naruto, you need to watch the whole thing. One Piece, whole thing, Dragon Ball Z, whole thing. But if you're watching Looney Tunes, you can pick up any episode of Looney Tunes and catch it. If
Mhm.
you're watching Tom and Jerry, exactly the same. Arguably, even if you're watching Friends,
No, Friends.
Oh.
Friends has a whole story going through.
it has a whole story going through it, but you can pick up even My Wife and Kids. It has a storyline going through it. Characters are changing and things are happening. But
Each
each
episode,
episode is its
little
own
thing.
little storyline.
Okay.
They
There are some
introduce
episodes
and
where
stuff.
there's crossover, but yeah, for the
Yes.
most part, yeah.
Yes. And I'm just like, I want to watch things which are self-contained, I don't want to. With anime, I'm already invested in certain anime, so I'm like, all right, cool. I've already watched all of these episodes. I'm gonna keep it going. But I'm just like, yeah, there's almost this money grab thing that's happening now, where it's just like, okay, how many manga books can I sell? How many tickets can I get for this one Marvel whatever? And I'm just like, yeah, you know what? I ain't got time like that no more, man. I want to be able to just pick this thing up, read it, put it down, and pick up a next thing, read it, put it down. I don't want to have to be like, yo, every week I need to watch this.
I mean, to be fair, the first Spider-Man was its own self-contained story.
It was.
Yeah.
It was. But I loved it. I was gonna watch the second one, and one of my cousin's wife was like, "Oh, I watched it, but it didn't really make sense, like this and that." And I was just like, "Oh, okay." Because I've seen the first one, I follow the continuum.
There is also an element of.
But also,
some
women
people-
don't be doing these things anyway.
Yeah, no. Some people will just not get it anyway. So.
Yeah,
Robert, when I asked you, you said you definitely need to see the first one.
No, you need to see the first one. It was Andrea. Andrea went not seeing the first one, and so there were things I was having to explain to her because she didn't really know about Spider-Man. But you know about Spider-Man that you don't need to see the first one, but you would appreciate it more by seeing the first one. Actually, no, you have to watch the first one to enjoy the second one even more.
It's like you can't just jump to Endgame having not seen the first Avengers.
Yeah, you can.
You can.
Endgame and Infinity War is like its own. It's like watching Justice League. It's like watching like the Justice League cartoon series.
Yeah, Justice League
Like
cartoon.
with Justice League Unlimited, there were so many superheroes like I didn't know about, and but that didn't take away from me watching the episode.
But were you watching them sequentially?
I watched whatever came up on Cartoon Network that day.
But and like arguably as well, the Bible is presented in 66 books, presenting a continuum in which you almost need to go through the whole thing in order to kind of capture what was like. You're reading Matthew, in as much as Matthew is his own self-contained book, but it's referenced in Old Testament and blah 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 blah. So even biblically, there's a wider narrative.
Yeah, but even the Bible isn't even written in chronological order. So like you're reading it, and it's not, and you're not. It's not like a story like that. It's like here, go back a bit, go forward a bit.
Yeah. But it's almost like if you were living in the days of the Bible being written, then it's almost like this. Not so much as like a cliffhanger, because each book is self-contained in that the author's intention behind it, or God's purpose behind the author's intention, has been completed in this book.
No, because the Bible wasn't put together until after all the stuff had happened.
So what I'm saying is, when Jeremiah was writing the stuff in Jeremiah,
Yeah.
the purpose that God had placed on him in writing that was completed by the end of Jeremiah.
Yeah, but then you don't have to read Exodus to understand Jeremiah, though.
You don't. You don't.
Yeah, the Bible is also very different. It's not a script for a movie, man.
It could be.
It has a very different intent
Hey,
behind it.
bro, have you seen the movie Noah, the movie Moses? There's a whole like BBC adaptation of the books of the Bible.
Yes, but it was written, it was designed with a different thing in mind.
It was, but it is a narrative.
Blasphemy.
There is a biblical narrative.
Out here comparing the Bible with James Gunn.
Yeah, go watch Spider-Man 2, but watch Spider-Man 1 first.
See that? Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Have you all seen Transformers?
No, I'm not.
Rise of the Beast.
Rise of the Beast, yeah.
I haven't seen it, you know.
You don't
I'm
need
not
to
bro,
listen to the others to watch that one.
We were pouring the water, yeah, and it sounded like a bourbon advert. Just pour. I almost just picture you swirling brown liquor in front of the camera and like smelling
It's
it.
water. It's just water.
Anyone seen Little Mermaid yet?
Gems went to go see it.
What
I've heard good things.
Yeah, she really enjoyed it. Gems, Leia, and Amelia went to go see it. They really enjoyed it. Leia literally came home and spent the whole rest of the week just listening to Little Mermaid on Spotify, trying to do Little Mermaid stuff on Canva. Yeah, like she really enjoyed it.
Has she watched the original?
I think she has. She watches Disney animations very sporadically.
Okay,
Like,
question. So
yeah.
so now that this movie has come out, is this the new original Little Mermaid?
This is it.
In your household.
This is the same thing as people that only know Ice Cube as an actor. Like that's their reality. Let them have it.
Nah, James ain't gonna have it because the cartoon is James's like one of her favorite films.
Yeah, let it be, man. Let it be.
Yeah. But then all the animals look bare butters in the movie.
Yeah, Sebastian looked weird.
Even tilapia, bro.
Sorry.
Slando was looking like one tilapia.
Do you know what though? Yeah, like my favorite film currently. One of my favorite films currently is Moana. Sick, love it.
Never watched it before.
Haven't you, bro?
Moana.
I haven't watched Frozen
by
either.
Lin-Manuel.
Yeah, apparently they're planning a live action version.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time.
Just ruining it.
They need to stop with live action, man.
Bro. Yeah.
And they need to stop with Fast and Furious too, because that one's finished.
So do you know what? Yeah.
Fast and Furious has two more movies.
So Vin Diesel's wife in Fast and Furious, yeah.
Which one?
Yeah. Which one? The one that's still alive.
Sean Rodriguez.
Yes.
Letty.
So they did her dirty. She was on a red carpet and she was talking about Marvel. And she was like, nah, Marvel just needs to stop it. Like, there's enough Marvel films now. And then the person was like, and how many Fast and the Furious films are there now? That was a setup. But yeah. Just storytelling, just looking at the storytelling and stuff. I'm just like, yeah, I don't know if I'm on it. Because
is there any movie from your childhood or series that you'd like to be see as a live action adaptation?
That's a good question.
Let me think too. Well, it's mad because we kind of, I don't know about you guys, I kind of grew up on Disney. So the ones that, you know, like The Lion King and Pocahontas and them lot, they've already done.
Yeah.
Even Peter Pan, they've already done a few different
Yeah.
I think Fillmore would make a funny live action.
Who?
Fillmore.
I haven't seen that.
You don't know Fillmore from Disney Channel?
Nah, sorry, mate. I think I'm an adult.
Wow.
Film? Nah, I've just seen film.
Fillmore. He was a safety patrol officer at his school.
Oh yeah. I had to Google it real quick.
Never seen it. No.
Like Recess and Rugrats and all of them man's there.
Wow. Fillmore was serious, bro.
No. What I need is a good Power Rangers live action. Well, no, because it was Power
Rangers
was
is live action.
Yeah, I mean like a movie, but yeah, no, it was live action, wasn't it?
Oh, I don't know, you know.
Static Shock, we need that Static Shock. I don't know if they would do it
Static
right.
Shock might
that'd be good.
I don't know if they do it right.
actually be a banger.
Freakazoid. Do you guys remember Freakazoid?
I never watched it, but I know it.
That one could be good.
Batman Beyond would be good as a live action.
Batman Beyond would be good. I think they'll. Oh no. I think they're working on that actually. No, they wouldn't be. No, not with James Gunn. No, yeah, no.
Terry McGinnis.
Terry
I
McGinnis,
was thinking through my memory. I don't know, you know. Tom and Jerry won't work.
They've done it. They've done a live action Tom and Jerry. Yeah, they've done it. Anyway, this is premium content for the listeners.
I know, right? Listeners, type in the comments what you want to see as a live action.
I think something along the lines of like, actually, no, I think they've done something similar. The animes with like the mech suits, but there was a live action with, like those stuff. But there was a live action with Idris Elba.
Oh, Pacific Rim.
That's it.
Pacific Rim was.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, it was all grey monsters, and then the John Boyega one was, Daddy's Legacy.
I never watched. I don't think I watched that one. Real Steel was really good.
Yeah,
Real Steel was good, but Real Steel was it? It wasn't a cartoon, was it?
It wasn't. But yeah. I'd watch a cartoon about that. To be honest.
Ooh, what the thing that might work though? Akira.
I heard they're working on that.
Because
I think I heard it was a Western group.
Oh, that's gonna be flipping.
Yeah.
Because I think that the animations that have good potential are the anime, but then I think they will only ever be done right if done by.
Yeah.
You know, the
Avatar was a shambles. Dragon Ball Z was a shambles.
We don't talk about those.
Have you guys watched Alice in Borderland?
No, I've heard a lot about
Netflix. I've seen,
You should give it a watch. It's pretty good.
I'll always go to my favorite movies all time. Rurouni Kenshin. I'll always go there. Mo, keep quiet. No one wants to hear from you right now. Keep quiet.
What about Afro Samurai as a live action?
That'd be cool. And you get Samuel L. Jackson to do the same thing, just add his voice. That could be cool.
that might actually bang.
That could be cool.
Who would you get to play Afro?
Oh, who would they cast as Afro Samurai?
Michael J. White.
He's too big.
I was thinking him. I was thinking.
Yeah, he is too big, though.
He's too big. Oh,
better not be Michael.
Oh, I know who I want to say, but I don't know if you know him. Let me find out his real name. I hope he's not dead. Let me quickly.
Yo, you know Holiday 4?
Michael Kenneth Williams.
Michael Kenneth Williams. I think I know who you're talking about.
Oh, he's older.
Yeah,
but he's got a scar.
You can always put those in thingy.
Oh yeah,
so he's dead. He's dead.
He's dead. Yeah, he's dead. He's dead.
He's dead.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind. Shout out to Omar.
He would have been perfect. I'm thinking this guy from The Holiday 4. Have you seen The Holiday 4?
No.
Oh, he's Lateef.
Oh yes, the guy from Judas and the Messiah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, he would work. No, I don't know. He's
Yeah, I'd have to see him in like a Quentin Tarantino, like Keith Stanfield. I'd have to see him in like a Quentin Tarantino film to
I think
see if he
Daniel
could do
Kaluuya
it.
has the right face for it. I don't know if he has the right body for it.
Yeah, he'd have to get shredded, and I don't know if he can. That's silly. I mean, if I say stupid things, what's his name? Will Smith's son, Jaden Smith.
Nope, 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 nope.
you, you, you know what? Donald Glover.
It's not a bad call.
I think I could do it. I think he could do it.
No, but Donald Glover has light skin energy though. I feel like
Yeah, but
I
you
think
know,
you're dark
but
skin.
you know what? Afro Samurai is like so dark throughout the series. You wouldn't be able to tell. Like most of
Donald
it's
Glover
just
could do
shot
it.
at nighttime.
Donald Glover could do it. Or they could just race switch. I mean, why not?
What? Bro, it's outrage, yeah.
Just give Jack Harlow Just give him an afro.
And if you're gonna race switch, it has to be Machine Gun Kelly. He's the outrage everyone.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
do you
I'm
guys
trying
know
to
Megan
see.
Fox is a self-proclaimed witch
Yeah, because
that
about
has
her.
done blood rituals with MGK?
I've seen that they've been drinking each other's blood. Well,
Yeah.
Megan Fox. Fam, when you said Megan Fox, yeah?
you thought Megan good?
Yeah.
No, not Pastor's wife. Not
Bro,
Pastor's wife. Not Suffer Mammy.
I was about to say what? You married a pastor and then
And
it
then you
just
switch to witchcraft.
Oh no, but she's doing that with thing now. Jennifer Majors.
Yeah. Which again, I don't know if it's a good thing, but hey.
You know,
Ooh,
well,
man.
acting career isn't going too hot, so give her some publicity.
yo, David Washington.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Mm.
Yes. 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 He could do it. He could do it easily. He could do it easily. Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And
Just
Boyega would have to be the sad man, and he'll still be voiced by Tommy Earl Jackson.
Or the other guys. What's his name? The guy from 12 Years a Slave.
Oh,
Chill T Geofor.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I think Washington's also a nice one.
hey, you see the guy in Friday? I've forgotten his name. The big black guy who kept bullying people.
I know who you're talking about. What's his name?
What was he, Friday?
Oh, Debo.
Debo, the guy who played Debo.
Let me find Tommy Lester Jr. Oh, he's dead.
Oh, I was gonna say he would have to be part of the group of the 5, or is it 7?
Oh yeah, no, of course, yeah.
Because there was one hench guy who's got rocket launchers in his backpack.
Yeah.
He would have to be that guy. Either him or Terry Crews.
Yeah.
Nah, this is mocking it. So I'm Google searching black male actors. Why is Michael Schofield in the search thing?
Wait, Michael Schofield from thingy.
Prison Break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's half black.
Is he?
I mean, he's light skinned.
Nah.
It'll be funny if
Chadwick Boseman would have been a good
Downey
person
Jr.
as well.
came.
Yeah, Chadwick Boseman could have done it. Yeah. Rest in peace.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, we're rambling now. So I think we should.
Man.
Yeah.
Hey, Wesley Snipes, Wesley Snipes would have to be the dad that gets killed first scene.
He's far too old now. He's far too old now.
Yeah. An hour. Hookups.
Anyone want to go first?
Hey, my hookup is a very pagan hookup. J Hus featuring Drake. Who told you?
Mm.
Drake's verse is pants, absolute pants. I don't know, bro. It must have been one of them situations where it's like I paid Drake to give me a verse. Whatever verse he gives me is the only verse that he's gonna give me, so I have to use it. But his verse is pants. So don't listen to it for Drake. But the track itself, absolute banger. I was gonna sing it, but copywriting that.
Come on. You got hook up, Peter?
I think my hookup will have to be
A new to-do list.
well, actually, you know, I might as well. So I'm trying out a new app. It's not a to-do list app. It's not a to-do list app. It's a notes-taking app
Okay.
called Capacities. It just approaches it very differently. It doesn't use folders or anything. It just uses objects. So every note is an object, and then you can build links between the objects. And I really like the concept behind it, so I'm trying it out. In addition to my toolbox of apps, I'm not going away from Notion or RemNote, but I'm just trying this out. It won't replace any of them, but I think I can find a very specific use case for this. So Capacities, it's in beta now, kind of, but it's free, so you can jump on, give it a try.
Is it on iOS or do you only know for thing?
It's on iOS. It's on iOS, but the mobile app is in public beta as well. So the mobile
Okay.
app is only for paid subscribers presently. But yeah,
Okay. So
Capacities.
my hookup is going to be an album by Jordan Armstrong. If you're looking for the Jordan, it's JOR, then there's a apostrophe DAN. Don't ask me why. These Americans. Apostrophes, bro. Yeah, Jordan Armstrong. The album is called Church Girls Love R&B.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it he randomly came up when we were driving one time, and I think he was singing a gospel adjacent song. So I went to go and look him up, and then this album came, and I listened to it, trying to figure out whether he's a gospel artist or not. He's how does he describe himself?
Gospel adjacent.
No, he does something different.
Almost saved.
He's what's the word? It's the contemporary Christian artist. That's what he is. But the album is a vibe.
CCM.
Come on. Yeah, it's a vibe. Listen to it with your missus on the car rides. First interlude is called Keisha, of course.
Second one's called Becky.
Well, that's good. It's good. All right, let's round up. Shout out Rude for the intro outro music. Cover Turner Audrey and Maze logo. Twitter at Furnace UK. Instagram at TBS Furnace. Email tbsfurnace.com/the No. Email tbsfurnace.com. You can find us at soundcloud.com/the Furnace, no apostrophe. On all good podcast websites and apps, the Black Furnace with an apostrophe. And that's it. So this is the Black Furnace signing out.